Greg, it's a pleasure to have you here today. You work for Amazon, leading a global initiative in terms of hospitality. And for anyone that know Amazon from being such a big company, such a powerful company in different areas, but probably would think that hospitality is not probably something in their agenda, but actually you are leading a very interesting initiative. Can you tell us more about your role and how Amazon is helping hospitality to do things differently from the past?
Sure. So my role is actually global segment leader for accommodation, lodging, casino, and cruise. So I'm one of 4 segment leaders across travel and hospitality. So think of it this way. Think of all the technology behind Amazon.com, the retail site. We adapt that for the travel and hospitality industry and use it to help travel and hospitality companies with their technology. So it starts with migrating to the cloud and using cloud computing to make them more agile and more resilient with their technology. But then that typically extends to modernizing their applications, helping them host their customer data on the cloud, but integrate all of their applications on the cloud to make all of their business processes more seamless. But number one, we typically start working with travel and hospitality companies that want to migrate to the cloud initially for agility purposes. Some of them do it for cost savings as well, but long-term, it's really about enabling modernization of their applications and about innovating everything they do in their business.
Can you give us some practical examples on how these things are working? If you can mention some companies that you have been working together with.
Sure. Well, I'm very lucky that within accommodation and lodging, I have the top 9 largest hotel groups in the world on AWS. So one of our very first hotel companies that went all in on AWS, as we call it, was Choice Hotels. So probably 5 years ago now, Choice initially wanted to migrate all of their applications, all of their systems to the cloud for agility, for security purposes, but overall to get rid of all their data centers. And they're just now finally getting rid of their last data center. So initially it was just to migrate their platforms to the cloud. But since then, they've worked with us to build their own reservation system on AWS services. They've built their own property management system on AWS services. They host their revenue management system on our cloud. And it really is about completely rethinking how you architect all of your systems to work together. So that's usually step one, which I would say is migrating to the cloud and then modernizing your applications and modernizing your infrastructure and architecture. Step 2 now, they're starting to aggregate all of their customer data in the cloud to be able to integrate that into everything they do across their business, whether it's better forecasting where to build their next property, better forecasting where they should go after new franchisees in different parts of the world, or forecasting which hotel is going to have better occupancy than someone else, or to forecast for their revenue management system. So it really does become an integral part of all of their business processes, even though it maybe starts initially with cloud migration.
Greg, one of the sectors that probably has more room to welcome innovation is real estate. When it comes to developing real estate for hospitality, where do you see innovation going forward?
Yeah, so I think, as hotel companies especially, once they migrate to cloud and modernize their application, that's when they're able to really run very quickly with innovation. And typically the initial focus is on innovating around the guest experience. So making things more self-service, making things contactless, offering contactless payment, offering voice control in the room. There's a lot of focus right now on innovating around that guest experience. But there's just as much focus on innovating the owner's experience. Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, at their franchisee conference last month, just announced a whole new platform to improve the owner and guest experience. And it's built on one of our partners that's built on AWS. They used AWS technology to enable all of this. So it can be any aspect of dashboards for the owners to track occupancy and availability. It can be new amenities that you make available to the guest. But the other area where we're really seeing innovation starting to take off is with the employee experience. We've had such labor shortages in the hospitality industry and probably all aspects of real estate, commercial real estate, residential buildings. And a lot of the innovation is putting towards improving the employee experience. So offer the employee application on a mobile device so they can be free to walk around the hotel or walk around the property and do other things, but still have access to all the systems. They don't have to be behind a desk. They don't have to be behind a counter. They can greet a VIP coming in the front door, but still pull up their reservation and see everything they need to see. So I think we're going to also see a lot of innovation from that aspect as well to improve the employee experience.
I believe that biometrics can play a big role when it comes to innovating and delivering a better service for a better experience for the guests in a hotel, for example. Have you done any research recently that you can measure if people feel more comfortable about sharing their data?
It's not our research, but there's third-party research from this past year that says relative to travel and hospitality, 51% of consumers are more comfortable giving their biometric data. And we, of course, have a lot of our own experience with it in the Amazon Go stores. We use the palm as the form of identification. You have a lot of airlines that are testing facial recognition for boarding. You have a lot of immigration departments that are testing facial recognition or retina scan for entrance into different countries. So I think in general, the consumer is getting much more comfortable with biometrics. I think especially in the space of travel and hospitality, there are a lot of really good trials and pilots going on right now that over the next year or two, you're going to see that become much more common. I just in the past year have started having some hotels start testing biometrics for check-in, check-out, for room entry, just pilots and POCs. Mm-hmm. So I think you'll start seeing it come up more and more in hospitality.
Greg, a final question. If you had a crystal ball here and you had to predict how the hotels or most of the most sophisticated hotels will be in 10 years' time, so with so much happening in terms of artificial intelligence, technology, cloud systems, programming, how do you see this new hotel?
I mean, in true Amazon style, we tend to work with what the customer wants, and we work backwards from there. So even today, if you look at what the traveler and the hotel guest wants, we have data that says they want self-service, they want contactless, they want something that's more personalized, and they're open to things like biometric and robotics to make things work more efficiently. So if you look 10 years out, I think we will see a hyper-personalized service model where data will be used in a responsible way and artificial intelligence will be used in a responsible way to make the experience very, very personalized. But I could see it very easily being you do everything through your mobile app, you arrive and check in with a biometric without having to talk to a human if you don't want to, going straight to your room, entering your room, and being able to have everything personalized to your taste based on your past history with that particular vendor, or maybe from an industry level profile that's been captured across your airline, your hotel, your car rental company, and every other type of trip you've taken. So I think we will see artificial intelligence rolled out in a way that it really does make it a personalized experience that we're all going to be very comfortable with.